It worked. Hello. I don't know if we are, oh, there I am. I was trying to figure out where I was. I thank you all for joining me tonight. I don't know, can you hear me? That's the first thing I want to know. If you all can hear me, let me see. Good afternoon. Hi. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure all the perks are out and that you all can hear me out there. All right, so thank you for tuning in today. This is Hosanna's for Youth live podcast. We don't have a guest tonight, but we have a lot to talk about. So before I begin, just so you know, my name is Angie Moss. I'm with Hosanna for Youth. And we're in the process of launching our HUGS program, which is helping underage LGBTQ generation with sexuality. So how befitting it is Pride Month. And I wanted to talk to you all about that because, listen, it's a lot going on with our youth today. And sexual identity is one of them that they are having a whole lot of issues with. It's not just from school friends or the community, it's inside the house. And a lot of the youth today that are choosing to identify as LGBTQ plus are getting ostracized. And I'm wondering, in this day and age, why? Why are we still at this point? And I know that a lot of people probably is wondering the same thing. And I'm not saying they choose to be, because I want to make you all understand there are certain things that, you know, make a person question their sexuality. And, you know, you meet people and they say, I was born this way. And rightfully, they may have been born with more chromosomes than the next or whatever. Some are born, you know, that way. And I know someone out there is going to argue this, and I'm not here to argue any of it. I want to talk about a different perspective. And I'm going to talk about sexuality from the perspective of what I know. And that is a lot of persons that identify as LGBTQ plus, perhaps some trauma has taken place. Perhaps, not all, but some persons, such as myself and other persons that we see here at Hosanna, have experienced some type of trauma. Now, I'm not even going to get into that. I want to get into another situation. You know, it's so disheartening for your family, your community, you know, to turn on you. Sorry, I didn't turn my phone off. And I need to. Give me 1 second. Lord, when you're trying to do stuff and have a conversation, all kind of things, I was, you know, we frequently canvass communities. And when we canvass those communities, we run into a lot of youth that are homeless and put out of their homes because of how they choose to identify or exist. And when I say that, it breaks my heart to hear the stories that I've heard of these parents that are embarrassed, ashamed, have fear pertaining to the sexuality of, or the way their child chooses to exist. The biggest thing, if I can give you one thing right now, as a parent that's dealing with a youth that is displaying or saying that they're LGBTQ plus, give them your love. You know, the hurtful thing that most of those youth have to deal with is the rejection of their family, not having this love and support and protection, not having that family around to comfort them and support them in how they choose to exist in this world. And it's so sad. You see it so many times. Our little boys, our little girls, you see them, our grown women, our grown men, still trying to exist while they're dealing with family hurt because they chose to be gay. You know, gay in the Black community is like the plague. You know, they don't want to talk about it. And you know what bothers me so much is, you know, they'll disown the child, put the child out, but they won't talk about who touched them. I got a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that. When you know as a parent that your brother, uncle, cousin, sister, whoever, someone in your family has sexually assaulted your child and you did nothing but kept it a secret, didn't address it or whatever, and then a little while later, that child begins to display these, you know, that they want to be with the same sex. Why are you putting these children out? I am so confused with how our thought pattern goes. You know, this is a time that they need your love. You may not approve of the act, I get it. But you don't want to throw them out in the streets. Do you know what could possibly happen to your child? Do you even care? Because, you know, if you address the first issue of when they were touched, I'm not saying all were touched, trust me. Some just, that's who they are. But then you'll like a post or love on your friends' children when you can't accept your own. I got a problem with that. Those are all stress things that create all kind of other traumas within a person. Those are all stressful things. And then your other children or children in the community watches the, you know, all of these derogatory terms and actions, and they start doing and being and existing in the community as you know, this bully type of mentality. It's so sad. When does it matter what a person's sexual preference is? Why does that matter? You know, I'll be honest, you know, this year, seeing the Pride, and then, you know, just a few weeks before, the youth who was dealing with the in Deerfield Beach, was it middle school, dealing with the bullying because of who he is. That's ridiculous. For another child to want to beat up on a child because of how they identify. I don't know if any of you parents are having the conversation with your children who are not in the LGBT community. Have the conversation with them about respecting people's choices. We have a lot of our trans kids being killed, beaten. Come on. But we can't address one thing without addressing all these other things. And I'm ready to have the conversation. I'm ready to have the conversation with you parents, everyone, because this is my community. I want to have the conversation as a Black LGBTQ woman, and how we are preparing society and our community and our culture that we exist amongst you all. And if you continue to ostracize or degrade or kill or whatever these, I'm so frustrated right now. I was speaking with someone that, first of all, that's why we made the program Hugs, because other people, children out here suffering in silence from things that have happened to them. And other people's children are out here suffering from bad parenting. I didn't have the knowledge to be a good parent when I was, younger. And I had kids, and I would say if anybody asked me, I wasn't equipped with the knowledge of what good parenting and bad parenting. I just was given from experience of what I saw in my household what to do. And I was totally wrong. I can admit that. But can you? Just because you're the adult don't mean it's right. Just because you're the adult don't mean, it's your way. These children today are dealing with stressors that's far beyond our reach if you don't intervene right away. You have to address that family perpetrator. You really do. You have to make sure that he or she knows, what he has done. And then you have to make aware other members in the family, because what perpetrators do, they go from one to the other to the other. I mean, me as a female being sexually molested at a young age, I had that in my head. It was stuck, it was branded. That's what I'm supposed to get, but then my body was different. So just imagine if your boy, what do you think he's going through? You got to look at the whole picture. I'm not telling you to accept the act. You ain't there when the act takes place. You may not even like their mannerisms. I'm serious. I'm being honest. But that's your child. And that's somebody else's child. And we need to start having the conversation so that we can teach love. People say love is an action word, but y'all pick and choose when and where and whom y'all want to love. Maybe you one of them persons, if they giving you something, you love them to death. Or if they, I'm just hypothetically speaking, because I think back to me when I was a kid. And like I told you, I don't know what's going to come out of the script of life that I had, but I love to talk about it, because now as an adult, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. This is real crazy. I can remember as a child, Duffy's on Davie Boulevard, and it was my mom's weekend to have us. And my mom, we at the restaurant, and I saw a lesbian couple there. And I remember sitting and just staring. I was just staring like in awe, right? And she looked at me and followed my eyes at what I was looking at. Do you know? That lady slapped the shit out of me right there in the restaurant and told me, don't look over there. And that just was in the back of my head for the longest. And I had remembered, to share that, because some of y'all still chastising y'all children for their actions, or how they present themselves, or how they talk and how they walk. Child, I'm guilty. I mean, I didn't have any parenting skills. I'm serious. You watch your friends, your children's friends, and things like that. But then you have to ask yourself, if love is unconditional, how come y'all give it to strangers before y'all can give it to your own children? You have to talk to your kids. If you have fears about their sexuality, be clear with them to make them understand, and then you two together can come to a ground of understanding. Protect them. They need us. They don't need all that stress running through their heads of this trauma, that trauma, not being able to talk to their mama, their daddy about who they are and all this stuff like that, not feeling accepted. This world is bad enough. So we need more conversation and understanding of who our children are, so they don't have to go through that. And you don't cast your fears upon your children. Now, back in the 80s, it was, oh, they're going to die, they're going to catch HIV, they're going to die, AIDS or whatever. It's a different time. Our children need us more than ever. We need to get the help we need for our own mental, so that we can be there for our children to help them with their mental. Sexuality, identity questions, have the conversation with your children. Let them know you don't approve, but you love them and you support them. It's enough. Our Black churches, we need to stop all that throwing rocks about somebody's sexuality. Stop it. It's like the people you talk about are the people that's helping. The people you disown. And I know some pastor somewhere is talking about, but it's the word, it's in the Bible. I hear you, I get it. But it's a difference when you're talking from a heart of compassion. When you're talking from a heart of, love. It's a different way of presenting the conversation about somebody's sexuality. I mean, as a I have 2 kids, but I'm a Black lesbian woman. I've always been. Unfortunately, I know some of these guys on here like, what the? No, for real. It's just, I'm 100% transparent. I can't play no games with y'all. I got to keep it 100% real. Yes. And people who know me know, from all, people know. And, it's like, I feel like it's just a disservice for me as the person I am to have this conversation and not be authentically true about it. So that's what you're getting from me. I'll read your messages later. For those that don't know, hi, I'm Jean. But those who do know, hey, I'm only speaking from my heart. We see too many youth out there that have been disowned and disassociated by their parents. When I was younger, and I lived, I don't know where I lived at the time, and my mom lived in Fort Lauderdale. Do you know she would not allow me to come to her house? I had to stay in the road next to the mailbox. That's just nasty. That's awful. And when you're out here in the streets and you see the youth that are homeless or selling their body, prostituting, running away from home, and you get to talking to them and they tell you everything of how they made it to this point, your mind will be blown away, especially when you find out who their parents are. We as a community need to come together so that we can support our youth and turn some of this stuff around. This anger and aggression that they're experiencing, we need to get to the bottom of it. And if it's not something that they're dealing with and it's something that they are picking up from their parents, because y'all angry and ornery too. I'm just keeping it 100. You are. Some of you, and you take your frustrations of life out on your children. I used to do it. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. But now No, that's not. If waking up every day puts you in a bad mood about something that you have going on within yourself, just imagine how that comes out to your children. Just imagine how your children are processing what it is you're saying to them. LGBTQ plus is not a death sentence. I shouldn't have to, defend myself because of who I choose to love or who choose to love me back. I'm pleading for the mother that has kicked her child out the house because you don't want to have a child that's gay. That mother, that's who I'm talking to right now. I'm talking to that mother who don't want, oh, I could deal with anything, but for my son to come home and say he gay, honey, you never know, the same joker that you was sleeping with or messing with was gay too, but he liked women too. You just don't know, and people be talking reckless. And I can sit amongst, and they be talking reckless, and they think that, I guess, because of how you look, that it's safe. Y'all got to open your mouth and say, no, that's not safe to say the things, any type of derogatory, negative, degrading thing about anybody. You need to stop them right then and there. No. Those children have parents, those children have family, and we should be able to call upon the community. I said this was about pride, and that family pride, we need to rewrite that whole thing. All that family pride make you hide secrets. Family pride make you think you're doing or saying or raising in the proper manner. The best kind of pride is love. And I'm saying your child may be with you just for a moment. You don't know the time span that child is supposed to be here on earth, or that you're going to be here on earth. Love them children. Help them figure this world out. And if you don't know, then find somebody to help you so you can help the child. It's too much hate going on. And I'm not saying racial hate. It's too much. I mean, you turn on the news, it's every day, either a child missing, a child molested, or a child shot. And if you anything like me, your heart I'm just like, whoa, this is getting rough. Somebody's not doing their jobs. How can a community have so many churches and nobody want to go? I ain't gonna say that. I'm just saying, how can a community have so many churches and on Sunday it's so many people home and not in the church? We need to rewrite this thing. The mental of the families, the mental of the youth, we need to pay attention to that. These kids are hurting. So our HUGS program was created so we can have arms open far and wide to bring those youth in and give them the love they need or they yearn for, to help them have conversations with their parents, to help them with the bullying and ways to live and exist, to help them with their mental capacity about who they're choosing to become. Now, if you work with youth and you meet youth that identify as LGBTQ plus, I'm saying T plus, please think about hugs. Refer them to hugs. A lot of time when people get stressed out, they are dealing with a lot and they want to, you don't want them to start uh, trying to suppress that with something else. You don't want them to try to suppress anything that they're dealing with mentally with drugs or other things. We have to open our hearts and be truthful of our own stories and our own selves to these youth so they can see in all authenticity that we made mistakes. We didn't have it all together and we don't have all the answers. We still learning as we go. And if anybody say they're not, I'm telling you, you're full of it. I'm telling you, that's what I'm doing. I'm telling you, you're full of it. We meet so many people that, for the sake of having their family and not losing their family, they will hide, you know, their desire, or they will hide their relationship, or they will hide what happened to them so that the family won't separate from them. That's awful to me. I experienced it. I was called names, everything you can mention. Ostracized and it wasn't the people in the streets, it was the ones in the house. Until one day I was able to say, you done said that so many times and I cried so many times, I can't cry no more. And it don't bother me no more. So call me whatever you want to. I am who I am. And if because I am who I am offends you, then don't connect with me. If I am who I am makes you uncomfortable, then don't come around. But then I realized I do have a say, and I can choose to be around whom I choose to be around. And that's how I live my life. That's how I live my life. I no longer look for acceptance in people at all. I mean, at all. And that's, I look for it for me, you know, my mental matters. Who I am matters, and I value who I am. I know who I am and I know my worth. And that's the one thing that you have to teach your kids, their worth. So they don't have to, what people say won't bother them, but how can you teach them the worth if you put them out? You putting them in the line of fire. Because how do you think these kids eat? Where do you think they sleep? How do you close your eyes at night not knowing? I remember as a teenager, my own self, I left because, you know, not being accepted at one point, I left the house. And I ate Frosty Mini Wheats. That was the cheapest thing I can go in the grocery store to buy. And I had Frosty Mini Wheats in my bag that I used to eat on. Because in my mind, I was like, at least the wheat, when it swells up, it'll, you know, keep me full until I run into a meal. What do you think your children are eating out there? How do you think they're eating? Where you thinking they get money to buy the food? Because they're gay, you put your child out? You talk about them to other family members. Unacceptable. Just plain and simple, unacceptable. Right now, today is not the time to turn your back on your family members pertaining to their sexual identity. This is the time that you embrace them, you love them, you be there for them. They need you, no matter the age, no matter the age. If it was someone else's family, many of us open our arms wide to a stranger and turn around and turn our backs on our own family because they choose to live their own truth. Has nothing to do with you. At the end of the day, from what I've learned at church, you will be judged on your own sin. You going by yourself. Give them love now. Help them now. They need you. For the educators, the teachers, the principals, I mean, whatever role you play, when you come in contact with youth that exemplifies LGBTQ plus, I hear it all the time. They're in schools, they're young, they're old, they're this, they're that. I hear it, and I want you all to know that that child may be at a home that don't even accept who they are. That child may not got a good night's sleep because he got a whooping or she got a whooping because she decided that she was going to live her truth. That child could have been abused. And they need whatever piece of joy you can give them. So let's make our mindset change the way we address the LGBT community. You'll be surprised who is, who not. What do you care any doggone way? We human. I hear all the time, and a lot of people always, giggle with me about it. Is they be like, Angie, you're amazing, and I'm like, and I can't, I'm like, really, and I get all flustered, because to hear that, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm amazing. Why? I'm amazing. Why? And then, the negatives start coming up, and, it'd be like, if they knew this, if they knew that, if they knew that, and it start tugging at you. But the other side be like, you know what? Accept it. You are amazing. No, I don't look like anybody else. No, I'm not them. I am who I am, and I embrace that. And I want the rest of you to do the same. Your children, these children, somebody else's children, they need whatever you can give them as joy. They need love. Sometimes running into some of you is the bit of peace that they haven't had in a long time. If you can't do it, send them to Hosanna for You. We'll do it. We'll give them unconditional love, non-judgment atmosphere. We just want to help the youth that are struggling with their identity. And we're not saying we don't have a right or a wrong to throw anybody in. That's what non-judgment means. Unconditional. That's what that means. You don't have a heaven or a hell to put me in. You can either deal with me or not deal with me. I'm just saying that for a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old who have not had a chance to experience life to its fullest, they need some help in processing what they're going through. 12, 13, 15, whatever that is, whatever mother that is, whatever father that is having a hard time because your little boy and your little girl is acting a certain way. That father, whew, your boys your daughters, they need that conversation. They need the support of, they need to feel protected regardless of whatever they choose to be or how they choose to exist. And some of them didn't have a choice in who they become. Some of them had bad things happen to them. I'm just saying, it's Pride Month, and some of you all may not know even, or give could care less of what pride, you know. Some people still saying, oh, those gay people or whatever, you know. Pride for me is, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be present. I'm happy to be who I am. I'm happy for my community and everything. I'm just happy that I'm able to help someone else. And I need you all to help someone else too. Recognize and acknowledge the youth in your family, the youth in your community, the youth in your workplace that may be struggling with trying to find their place with their sexual identity. I ask you to please refer them to Hosanna for You. This is a very new program. We will launch soon, but we want to prepare the community. It's enough of the hate bashing. It's enough of the trans killing. It's enough of the bullying. It's enough. When it's something other than a gay topic, it's like everybody is kind of like in the throes with it. But when it's a gay topic, you know, you got people that's like, oh, I don't want them around me. Oh, I'm not like that. And oh, you know, it's no more gossip about it. Quit. Whatever you do, your children see how you respond to it. Guess what? They're gonna think it's perfectly fine to exist in that manner. I just wanted to have a conversation with you all and employ you to be on the lookout, be aware, pay attention to your children, and give them, you see this heart? Give them love. And if you don't know how to love, honey, ask for help. Hosanna for Help Youth will help you too. If you don't know how to have a conversation with them, ask for help. Hosanna for Youth will help you do that too. And even if you are dealing with something inside of you, whether it's, you know, you're afraid of how people are gonna look at you because you have a gay daughter or a gay son, or you blame yourself like something is wrong with you that you produced a gay daughter or a gay son, or you wondering why it had to be your child. It's okay if it was the lady down the street child, but because it's your child, you're not coming in here with this gay stuff. You're not bringing them gay people to my house. You're not walking out of here looking like that. You know, you ain't talking, quit twitching your hip, quit snapping your fingers, quit rolling your head, all that stuff. Y'all need to stop. You are actually putting your child in harm's way, whether it's their mental or in someone else's space that could possibly harm them. You know, we have to protect our children. We don't know what they would become. And if they did become one of those letters, love them. I commend every parent. I always admire the parent that embraces who their child becomes. That touches me in a deep place because I didn't have that until later in my life. So, happy Pride. You just met Angie Moss. Hosanna for You. It's here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. And I thank you all for tuning in. And I hope you all share the video with someone who's struggling with their sexual identity or struggling with accepting someone of the LGBTQT plus community. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night.